Go right ahead, baby.
Live from Rock Hall, it's Saturday night. How do we keep doing this week after week after week? It's just astonishing. But welcome to the Mainstay, and especially to those people perhaps coming here for the first time. Are there any who have never been here before? Welcome. Welcome. You don't know what you're in for. Okay. A couple of business matters. First, and this usually is the most important message, we are serving complimentary oysters on the back deck tonight. And there's no charge for them, but please be generous with the man who's shucking them. The shucker, okay? And I always say that means something different where I come from, the shucker. But anyway, we have a real treat for you. The next order of business is please turn the ringers on your cell phone off, okay? So that we're not treated to the Peer Gynt suite in the middle of one of Robert's solo. It's important and it's not appropriate. Okay, I've said it. But wonderful things. This is special. Regular guests and friends. How long have you two been friends? 20 years, wow. Well, isn't that something?
A couple weeks.
You know, you really have to, you really have to appreciate that and be mindful of how to treat each other as a good friend. But sometimes things happen and it changes everything without any notice. My best friend in school, Michael, we were inseparable, but he became a mime. I never heard another word from him. Where's the drummer when you need him?
Is that a new one?
Well,
Good job, Matt.
I can't reveal my sources. Let's welcome Sue Matthews, Robert Redd, and their fine group.
Thank you. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather since my man and I ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. The glamorous, the elegant, Lena Horne. One of our legendary divas of American popular jazz music, with a voice described as warm-timbered, nearly caressing with that seductive drawl. She held her own as a member of that elite group of female singers of our Great American Songbook. As a singer, as a dancer, as an actor, she was a terrific performer. She absolutely commanded any and every stage that she was on. She is also well known for and considered one who broke barriers as a civil rights activist. Early on in her career, as she was working on her career, working at the Cotton Club, traveling with dance bands through the North and the South, working in New York theater, in clubs in New York, and being actually held back in the 40s in Hollywood, all contributed to her lifelong pursuit to secure equal rights for African Americans, especially in the entertainment industry. This could be its own show, quite honestly, and very well deserved. Tonight, we're going to touch on some of her civil rights work as we bring to you what we consider our celebration of the life and the music of Miss Lena Horne. Yeah, so she was 25 when she made her Hollywood film debut. It was the first of the 10 movies that she made with MGM. This was released in 1942, Panama Hattie. Now, I love this part. She didn't have a speaking role, but she was the only one who received any rave reviews. Quote, although the film a disappointment, Lena Horne is ravishing. And when she sings, you can forget about the rest of that movie. This is a great tune that she sang in Panama Hattie for that 1942 release from Cole Porter. It was just one of those things. It was just one of those things. Just one of those fabulous flings. One of those bells that now and then rings. Just one of those things. It was just one of those nights. Just one of those fabulous flights. A trip to the moon on gossamer's wings. Just one of those things. We thought of it at the start of it when we started painting that town. We'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we'll meet now and then. It was great fun, but it was just one of those things. Started painting that town. We'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we'll meet now and then. Well, it was great fun, but it was just one of those things. Anita Thomas. Yay, Anita. She's going to be playing all night. Awesome. Lena Mary Calhoun Horne. Lena Mary Calhoun Horne was born on June 30th, 1917. Her mother, Edna Scottron, who grew up with a family filled with educators, left home at 16 to become an actress. And while she was touring with an a New York City African-American traveling theatrical troupe, she met her husband and soon-to-be Lena's father, Teddy Horne, not an actor. Lena came along before the end of the first year of their marriage. Teddy's family, the Hornes, were well-established, industrious members of Brooklyn's black middle class. With multiple college-educated family members, they garnered respect both in their community in Brooklyn and beyond. And then there was Teddy. Teddy worked in the gambling business, much to the chagrin of his parents, and couldn't adjust to his new roles as husband and father. So he left his young family and moved off to Pittsburgh when Lena was barely 3 years old. Of course, the Hornes took in their daughter-in-law and their granddaughter, and although very grateful, Edna just couldn't adjust herself to fit in with the Hornes and where they wanted Edna's life to go. So she decided to go back to what she loved and returned to the theater. She rejoined that theatrical group and, taking Lena with her, moved to Harlem. So this next tune that we're going to do for you is a great tune that Lena loved doing. She recorded it, sang it, and it was recorded on the beloved 1956 live album, Lena Horne, live at the Waldorf Astoria. In fact, this album was the best-selling record by female artist in the history of RCA Records. I know. There's all sorts of things we're going to find out tonight that are kind of interesting. Anyway, this is from the great composer Ruby Bloom and one of my favorite lyricists, Johnny Mercer. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. The same old voodoo follows me about. The same old pounding in my heart whenever I think of you. And darling, I think of you day in and day out. Oh, day out, day in. Day in, darling, when the days begin. When I awaken with a tingle, with possibilities in view. One possibility that I'll be seeing you. Come rain, oh, come shine. I meet you, and to me the day is fine. When I kiss your lips and the pounding becomes the ocean's roar, a thousand drums. Can't you see it's love? Can there be any doubt? When there it is, baby, day in, day out. Come rain, ooh, come shine. I meet you, and to me my day is fine. Then I kiss your lips and the magic becomes the ocean's roar, a thousand drums. Can't you see it's love? Can there be any doubt? When there it is, day in, day out. Woo! Robert Red. Well, finding theater work for Edna wasn't easy. She tried to keep Lena with her. Over the next about 10 years or so, they moved a lot. They moved from New York to Florida to Georgia to Alabama. And at times, she had to ask family members if they could take Lena in for a bit until she could secure a role and be able to afford to have her daughter come back and live with her. Lena often talked about those early moves with her mother and how she found them living in parts of town that weren't like the Brooklyn that she knew. This is where and when she was introduced to racial discrimination. At first, it confused her, and then it angered her. From that point on, throughout the rest of her life, she never gave in to this unfair inequality. But during this time, Lena did find security and great schooling when she was, even for short periods of time, staying with an uncle or a family friend or an aunt or her grandparents' Horne. By the way, Lena never did live with her father during this time. She got to know him. He would come and visit when she would stay at the with the Hornes in Brooklyn. But obviously, with all this moving around, she was in a lot of different schools. And even with that, her drive to perform took foothold. She was in school choruses, she performed in school plays, and she was always, always taking dancing lessons. In 1930, Lena was 13 when she moved again in with her grandparents, Horne, in Brooklyn. They enrolled her in a private academy in Manhattan, and they always made sure that she was learning her social graces. Lena loved her grandparents. She loved living with them. They gave her a solid ground, a feeling of belonging. A couple of years later, when she was 15, it was 1932 now, and sadly, unexpectedly, both of her grandparents passed away within a relatively short period of time of each other. And this, of course, devastated Lena. Her mother had moved back to New York, and Edna, with her new husband, Mike, welcomed Lena into their home. She was very, very, very grateful and accepted this invitation. This next song we're going to do for you is a great Gershwin song, George and Ira, Gershwin song. She recorded this with the Fillmore Four in 1945. How long has this been going on? I could cry salty tears. Where have I been all these years? Little wow, please tell me now, how long has this been going on? There were chills up my spine, and some thrills I dare not define. Listen, sweet, while I repeat, how long has this been going on? Oh, I feel that I could melt into heaven. I'm hurled. I know how Columbus felt, finding another world. Kiss me once, then once more. What a dance I was, oh, what a dance I was before. What a break, for heaven's sake. How long has this been going on? Dear women, your arms I creep. Oh, that divine rendezvous. Don't wake me if I'm asleep. Let me dream that it's true. Kiss me once, then once more. What a dance I was before, and what a break, what a break. For heaven's sake, how long has this been going on? Going on. Anita Thomas. Oh my gosh. Well, this was, of course, during the Great Depression. When Lena turned 16, she could see her family was financially struggling, and so she asked her mom if she could leave school to look for work. Edna had been adamant that Lena finish her schooling, but even she could see they needed help to put food on the table. So she knew her daughter loved to perform. She was a good dancer and a good singer, so Edna used the only contacts that she had, and she got Lena an audition as a chorus girl at the fabled Cotton Club in Harlem. The audition was a success, and Edna secured Lena's first official contract. Now, from that point on, for several years, Edna stopped acting. She became Lena's agent, her manager, her coach, her guardian. Yeah, okay, so she probably was living vicariously through her daughter. Many people thought that she was jealous of Lena. She may have been, but she did protect her through these early perilous years, and she helped Lena to embrace and grow with her talent. Now, of that Cotton Club experience, Horne later said, that year was when I got all my schooling. 3 shows a night, sometimes 4. The chorus was often pressed into doing shows during the day at the movie theaters, in between, to entertain the audience in between the movies. She just turned 17 when she got her first break. One of the lead singers of a show had to leave the club. And although not immediately, but one of the directors decided to give the kid a chance. And so Lena took over just one of those songs, actually joining a duet. Of course, she was still in the chorus. She was getting rave reviews for her singing in this duet, and her stepdad, Mike, thought it would be great to surprise her and go see her perform. So one night, with a group of his friends, they went to the front door of the Cotton Club and were turned away. It didn't matter why they wanted to see a show. They were the wrong color to sit at a table in the club. Lena didn't know this was happening. She was backstage. She didn't find out about it until she got home in the wee hours of the morning and was very just crushed for her stepdad. Now, she knew the Cotton Club's rules of whites only in the audience, but she hadn't discussed it at home. Anyway, she later said that the other chorus girls and the black musicians that worked there, not willingly, but they quietly dealt with this inequality. They wanted the work, they needed the money. It is what it is, they told her. Well, Lena wouldn't accept that. But she did learn to keep her anger to herself. She would always think, why do we have to put up with this? And when was the change going to come? It's the beginning of her looking to be a civil rights activist. This is a great song that was written by one of the Cotton Club. Well, the Cotton Club had staff writers, obviously, for their shows, and composer Harold Arlen and lyricist Ted Kohler were one of the songwriting teams, and they wrote this great tune in 1934 while they were at the club, and Horne recorded it 10 years later, As Long as I Live. Maybe I can't live without you as long as I want to. Life isn't long enough, baby, but I can love you as long as I live. Maybe I can't give you diamonds and things that I want to, but I can promise you, baby, I'm gonna want to as long as I live. I never cared, but now I'm scared I won't live long enough. That's why I wear my rubbers when it rains and eat an apple every day and see my doctor anyway. What if I can't live to love you as long as I want to? Love lots, I promise you, baby, I'm gonna love you as long as I live, yeah. James King. Live to love you as long as I want to. Life isn't long enough, baby, but I can love you as long as I live. Maybe I can't give you diamonds and things that I want to, but I can promise you, baby, I'm gonna want to as long as I live. I never cared, and now I'm scared I won't live long enough. That's why I wear my rubbers when it rains and eat an apple every day and see my doctor anyway. What if I can't live to love you as long as I want to? I'm gonna promise you, baby, I'm gonna love you as long as I live. I'm gonna love you just as long as I live. Well, so Mama started looking for Lena's next job. And she got her an audition with a local, very popular band, all black musicians, the Noble Sissel Orchestra. Sissel loved her. He hired her right away, wanted her to start right away. But, you know, it was well known that the owners of the Cotton Club didn't look too kindly upon their performers, especially the chorus girls, to leave their club to go work someplace else. In fact, it could be dangerous. So, not wanting to, but realizing that she had no choice, Lena left the Cotton Club under the cover of the darkness of night, of course without her last paycheck. In fact, members of some of the black musicians, several of the black musicians, walked Lena and her mother. Her mother had stayed backstage this last night that she was going to perform. Walked them almost all the way home to make sure that they would be safe. So anyway, these 2 years with the Sissel Orchestra, it's about two years, Lena said was more schooling for her. Sissel accepted Edna's role as the helicopter mom that she was. And he took Lena under his wing and created a safe environment for her where she could gain in her confidence and also her performance chops could grow. Of course, Mike and Edna always traveled with the band on those big charter buses. Sissel would sit next to Lena. Sitting right behind them would be Mike and Edna. Mama kept close look over Lena. She wanted to make sure none of the musicians in the band would even try to take advantage of her, let alone any man she might find while they were on tour. Lena was 19 when she couldn't even sit at a table in a crowded restaurant by herself with a man to have a cup of coffee, let alone a date. She was becoming very unhappy and apparently a little difficult. No surprise. Well, this was just after the new year of 1937, and the Sissel Orchestra was touring near Pittsburgh. Lena's dad, Teddy Horne, was still living in Pittsburgh and now owned a pretty successful hotel. So Lena asked, and her mother agreed, that she could spend that week with her dad. Change would do her good, she thought. Change of scenery would do her good. That change of scenery was a man. Her father introduced her to this wannabe politician, smooth talker, Louis Jones. Well, they spent every waking moment with each other through that week. Lena fell fast and hard, so it's no surprise she only was back out on tour for a few days before Louis proposed and she accepted. Now, she knew she was going to have to leave Noble Sissel's orchestra, but she never gave any thought to what that was going to mean for her mother. Just a few days later, 28-year-old Louis, 19-year-old Lena were married. Her father gave her away. Her mother didn't go to the ceremony. In fact, they found out later that she and Mike were on their way to Cuba. It took a couple of decades before they even started to reconciliate. Yeah, I know, that's sad, but that's part of her story. The Noble Sissel Orchestra went on their way without their singer-dancer, and Lena found herself married to the only man she had ever dated, and now was going to become a conventional middle-class Pittsburgh wife. Oh, my. This was a song that she loved doing. Lena would often throw a couple of dance steps in. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that. Throughout her career. A great tune that was written in 1926 and quickly became a jazz standard from Fred Rose and Walter Hirsch, and the wonderful James King and I are going to get this puppy started for you. Deed I Do. Do I want you? Oh my, do I? Do I? Did I do? Do I need you? Oh my, do I? Do I? Did I do? I'm glad who found you. That's why I am always hanging around you. Do I love you? Oh my, do I? Did I do? Yeah. For this great band. Do I want you? Ooh, oh, my, do I? Do I? Did I do? Do I need you? Oh yeah, do I? Do I? I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. You know that's why I'm always around you now. Do I love you? Oh, baby, do I? Oh, baby, do I? Indeed, I do. I do. Do I? Oh, need I do? Just you. Da-da-da-dee, I do. James King on bass. Thank you. Okie dokie. That was fun. So they hadn't been married for a year when their first child, Gail, came along. Baby Gail was just about a month old when Hollywood called Lena and asked her to come out to star in a black-produced film. Oh my gosh, well, Louis was pretty sure that, she was going to be a star. Money was going to come in. So they found help for Gail, and off to the West Coast, Lena went alone. The movie, The Duke is Tops, was literally thrown together in 10 days. It should have taken 8 months. They just threw this together in 10 days, and for Lena, it was kind of a bust. No fame, no other offers, and most of the money they owed her didn't come from that film. She was disappointed, of course, but not quite ready to give up on Hollywood just yet. Louis Jones's financial woes is a whole other story. This caused her great worry and deep concern. So she was very thankful when a friend got her a job, a good-paying singing job, for white elite private parties in Pittsburgh. At one of those engagements, she met a New York agent who fell head over heels over her and said to her, "You need to come back to New York with me because I know I can get you a part in a forthcoming Lou Leslie review." Lou Leslie, white Lou Leslie, was the first major and highly successful impresario to present African American actors on the Broadway stage. And Lena thought this would be not only a great opportunity for her career, but hopefully bring some money in for her family. So alone in New York, again, alone in New York, the weeks dragged on. The rehearsals were brutal with the taskmaster, Lou Leslie. And she later said, although she was miserable, she learned so much. She was 21 when the show finally opened on February 11th, 1939, only to close 5 weeks later. Her reviews were terrific, and she was, many people said to her, you need to stay in New York to work, but she wanted to go home. She was unhappy. She missed her baby, she missed her husband, and of course, Louis was happy to have her back where she belonged. Within a couple of weeks, they were expecting, or a couple of months, they were expecting their second child, Teddy, was born in 1940. Now, I'm just going to take a little minute here because I just want to say how wonderful it is to have this incredible group of musicians up here tonight, but especially for me, my very dear friend, this wonderful musician and great pianist, Robert Redd. We're lucky to have Robert with us here. I am lucky, we are all lucky, because he's been pretty busy. He's the pianist for the Duke Ellington Orchestra, traveling all over the United States, all over the world. And how long have they been lucky to have you?
I have to pinch myself. I'm lucky to be there.
It's been a
great gig for me.
Yeah, I know it's been a great gig for you. And they are. I mean it. They're lucky to have you. Robert and I have been doing these songbook shows for a while. Robert's the music director, and we just had a lot of fun. I think this is, I don't know, 17th or 18th one, something like that. Right? We'd like to thank the Mainstay. Lots of times we're able to debut the shows here, which is just terrific. Anyway, Anita and James, if you don't mind, just a minute, Robert and I are going to throw a little duet together for you from Rodgers and Hart, this beautiful song that Lena recorded on her Stormy Weather album that was released in the late 50s. This particular song was such a success, it was also released as a single and was considered a huge hit for her. Little Girl Blue. Sit there and count your fingers. What can you do? Old girl, you're through. All you can count on is your fingers. Unlucky little girl blue. Sit there and count the raindrops as they are falling on you. It's time you knew. All you can count on is those raindrops. Unlucky little girl blue. No use, old girl. You might as well surrender. Your hope is getting slender. Why won't somebody send a tender blue boy to cheer this little girl blue? little girl blue. When I was very young, the world was younger than I, as merry as a carousel. The circus tent was strung with every star in the sky above the ring I loved so well. Now that young world has grown old. Gone are the tinsel and gold. Sit there, just sit there, you little girl blue. Well, Lena, now 23, and 2 children under the age of 3, it was becoming very clear to her that her marriage was collapsing. She and Louis agreed to separate. They didn't divorce for another 4 years. Anyway, money was always a concern. There always seemed to be a problem with money, and especially now. She was going to be on her own. How was she going to be able to support herself and her family in Pittsburgh? She knew she had to go back to New York to find work. So, leaving Pittsburgh and her children behind until she could make some money and they would be able to come and live with her, Lena left again alone for New York. With the money she borrowed from her father, she stayed at the Harlem YWCA while she looked for work. Week after week, she pounded the pavement looking for acting jobs or singing jobs. Nothing. She was at the point where she barely had enough money left to pay for her train ride back to Pittsburgh. She was gonna have to throw in the towel and leave New York. But an agent that she had met while she had been up there got in touch with her and told her he had an audition all set up for her with the saxophonist, white band leader Charlie Barnett. Oh my gosh, Lena's thinking, Barnett's not going to hire me. But she didn't want to cut the ties with this agent. You know, you never know what's going to happen. So she went ahead, she went to the audition. She did leave New York, the very next day, in fact, to go on the road with this awesome swinging band. This was her turning point. This is her turning point as she set off on the next 5 decades of a career. Next 5, this was her turning point. Awesome. We would like to thank everybody here. Right now, we're going to take a little break after we're going to do one more tune, take a little break. Please don't forget to tip Jamie when you go have some of those oysters. They look fabulous. And don't forget to look at that moon. Oh my gosh, I know, it's beautiful. Please put your hands together for this incredible group of musicians. Anita Thomas. James King on bass. Robert Redd, our music director and pianist, Robert Redd. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. We're going to close our first set. Oh, by the way, too, I want to thank everybody who's watching from home. Hi, I think my sister Sarah and Marcia are watching. Hi, guys. Anyway, here's another song from that 1957 recording, Stormy Weather, and more Cole Porter. She loved Cole Porter, and man, she sang him well. From this moment on. From this moment on, you from this moment on, from this happy day, no more blue songs, only hoop-de-doo songs from this moment on. For you got the love I need so much, got the skin that I love to touch, got those arms to hold me tight, got those sweet lips to kiss me goodnight. Yes, from this moment on, you and I will be flying high, babe. Every care is gone from this moment on. From this moment on, you and I will be traveling high, babe. Every care is gone from this moment on. We'll be back in a few. Thank you very much.
What a treat, huh? So I have several things to tell you. Some of them fall into the category of important mainstay information. Some of them fall into the useless personal dribble that I'm so good at. But in terms of the mainstay, I don't know how many of you realize that not only do we do a show just about every weekend, either a Friday or a Saturday, but we've also added a monthly open mic on Wednesdays, and more recently we do an every week Thursday after work kind of pub night, which was supposed to be a bar night, but it's turned out to be another wonderful concert event. Those started about 5:30, or did start about 5:30. The sum total of that is that we do close to 100 shows a year, and in Rock Hall, right, which total population of 37. And that's important, and the reward for that is that in another few weeks, in the early December, we get to turn the lights off, vacuum the rugs, and take about a month and a half off. So I want you to realize that come the middle of December or so, we will be closed until the middle of February. Yeah. Right, what do you think we go out and get jobs shoveling coal? No, we recuperate, we plan, we do wonderful things together. We play mahjong. Okay. And it's a much needed rest, but it's also a development period when we think about what's going to be exciting and important next year. And I'm already underway with that process. So thank you all for coming and supporting us throughout the year and for the past 3 years that I've been here. And more to come, more wonderful things to come. The other thing I want to tell you what the 3 remaining main stage spotlight shows are that we have left. And one of them comes in just 2 weeks from tonight on the 30th of November, and it's Robert Red's brother, Chuck. And as many of you know, Chuck is another one of the inner circle here, one of the family here that goes back to his membership as a very young man in the Charlie Bird Trio. And we will all want to give Becky a shout out. Becky was supposed to be here tonight, but didn't feel her best. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
And he's played with the best, before royalty, before heads of state, but also with just really important people. And he'll be here with a group on the 30th. And after that, and I'll tell you a little story before I go into this. I'm sorry, I'm going to bore you for a couple of minutes here. I want to tell you a story about Mama Ange. Now, when I grew up in the 1950s, my grandmother used to watch me on weekends. My mother and father used to go to the racetrack. And this was in Utica, New York, when it was a city that had great promise. It had a population of over 100,000 people, and of course now it's about half that. But Mama Ange, my grandmother, used to babysit me on Saturday night, and I would go over to her house, and Mama Ange and I would watch TV, and she would consistently fall asleep by 10 o'clock. Which gave me control of the TV until not only the Late Show went on, but the Late Show. And I was probably 4 or 5 years old, but I couldn't get enough of this. And the Late Show specifically showed movies from the 30s, the 40s, and occasionally the 50s. You know, that new guy, Dana Andrews or so. But my favorites were the mysteries and the musicals. And for years, I was just thrilled when they would have a Boston Blackie or the Falcon or the Saint or the Mysterious Mr. Moto on at 1:30 in the morning. That would keep me up until 3 in the morning. And I couldn't figure out why I always just liked these two genres of movies until I realized when I got here, it's because they almost always had nightclub scenes. And the nightclub that they used to depict in the movies just doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it never did, but in my mind it did. And this is the experience, I think, of this of this gathering of people coming out with their free time on a Saturday night to get together in a small, intimate room with a really good live band. You know, not an AI-generated band. It's the one thing AI can't replace. You know, they can write the music, they can write the poetry, but they will never, ever simulate the experience of being in front of a live band. It's just exceptional. So we're very fortunate, I think, to have something like that here in Rock Hall. I'm sorry I've gone on too long already, but so be it. It's the cost of the ticket. At this point, I want to thank you for coming, and ask Robert Red to come back on the stage and play a song for us.
I'm going to play a tune that Lena Horne recorded in 1994. This was from an album called We'll Be Together Again. It's a Duke Ellington tune that Duke Ellington composed this based on a riff that he would hear the great trumpet player Cootie Williams play. Cootie was a great trumpet player in his band on and off for many years. And Ellington took that little riff and he spun it into a tune, and he called it Concerto for Cootie. Good name. And this was written in about 1940, and about 3 or 4 years later, Bob Russell added lyrics to it, and it became the more familiar title, which is Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me.
couple of extra announcements before we keep going. That Robert will be here with his brother Chuck on the 30th, and I'm telling you what, you've got to see these two play together. It's amazing. That's November 30th here, right? Yep, good. And let's see. Joe Holt's going to be here the first Friday, woo, and December we're doing Louis Prima show. Come and see that. And the beloved Harp and Soul Christmas show will be here Sunday afternoon on December the 8th, starting at 4 o'clock, and you better get here at noon because, you know, there's no place to sit. All right. Anyway, welcome back. How many had oysters? Oh, yeah. What a wonderful thing, and Jamie's terrific. Thank you very much, Jamie, and the wonderful people who make the oysters happen. That's terrific. Anyway, let's get back to the show. So, woo. Lena Horne traveled and recorded with the Charlie Barnett Band for just about a year. She credits Charlie and his musicians in helping her to evolve her musical style. She would practice standing behind the stage when they were practicing, maybe even standing in the wings when they would play, listen to them all the time. Sometimes she would hone in on one instrument and do what she could to learn. Lena was always trying to get better. She was always working to get better, to be a better singer, a better dancer, a better actor when she was married, a better wife, a better mother, a better advocate for her race. As the only black and female among 20-odd, mostly young white men, her challenges in the social settings as they toured created quite a bit of angst and anger for her. Because of racial prejudice, she was often not able to stay in the same hotel or socialize at the clubs or the concert halls where she, with the orchestra, had just performed. So this was difficult for her. She knew she had to move on, but boy, she loved this band. She loved these guys. They were kind. They were respectful. They always looked out for her to protect her. And she was very grateful for the time that she was having with them. But as I said, she knew she had to move on. She performed this next song we're going to do for you live on the television show. Now, I don't remember the show. The Jazz Singers Channel in 1973. Hands? Oh. So it was in America, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this great song is from the French composer Michel Legrand with the English re-lyricization, there's a big word for you, from Norman Gimbel. Watch what happens. Cold. No, I can't believe your heart is cold. Maybe slow to warm from long, lonely night. Let someone start believing in you. Let him hold out his hand. Let him touch you and watch what happens when someone can look into your eyes and see into your heart. Let him find you and watch what happens. Cold. No, I won't believe your heart is cold. Maybe just afraid to be broken again. Let someone with a deep love to give that deep love to you. And what magic you'll see. Let someone give his heart, someone like him. you give that deep love to you, and what magic you'll see. Let someone give his heart, someone who cares like him. Let someone give his heart to you. In 1941, Lena was now 24, and Barnett's band was performing at the New York Paramount Theater. A music critic and self-appointed talent scout, discoverer of Negro artists promoted to impresarios, asked Lena for a few minutes of her time. That conversation would impact the trajectory of her career and her life. John Hammond told her a new singer was needed at the racially integrated nightclub in Greenwich Village, the Cafe Society. The owner, Barney Josephson, wanted it to be her. Could she find time tomorrow to go and talk to him about the job? Oh my God. Lena couldn't believe her luck. She couldn't believe her luck. This was going to be a great opportunity, a singing job in New York. And a club that accepted whites and blacks alike, both on the stage and in the audience. She'd be off the road and able to have her children come live with her. Now, Charlie Barnett was a very gracious, he was a wonderful man, and he hated to see her go. He wished her all the luck, obviously, but he also thanked her for what she had brought to his orchestra in that short period of time, less than a year. Well, over the next year, she was at the Cafe Society about a year. Horne experienced great success at the Cafe Society, building a name for herself. This is also where, for the first time, she became actively involved in helping her people. The integrated cast invited her to participate in a benefit. This was on their time off, and the owner didn't care how they spent their time off, to help raise money to force the landlords in Harlem to do more than just simply collect the rent. This was the first of many benefits that she participated in while she was at the cafe. This next song we're going to do for you was so much fun. It was included in the repertoire for her 1981 one-woman Broadway show, and recorded on the subsequent album, Lena Horne, The Lady in Her Music. This is a great tune that comes from Vince Yeomans and Irving Caesar. They actually wrote it in 1925. I Want to Be Happy. Here we go. I want to be happy, but I can't be happy till I make you happy too. Life's really worth living long as we are mirth given. Why can't I give some to you? When skies are gray and you say that you are blue, I'll send that sun smiling through for you. I want to be happy, but I can't be happy till I make you happy too, yeah. happy, but I can't be happy till I make you happy too. Life's really worth living long as we are mirth given. Why can't I give some to you? When skies are gray and you say that you are blue, I'll send the sunshine through for you. I want to be happy, but I can't be happy till I make you happy too. Happy too, making you happy too. Yeah. Woo. Okay. When young Lena was living with her grandparents, Horne, in Brooklyn, she met all sorts of people. Politicians, educators, performers, pardon me, local movers and shakers were always coming through the house. She said how surprising it was for her later in her life when she would be reintroduced to many of these people, and they would remember her. Okay, the four-letter athlete, all-American football hero, honor law graduate, actor, singer, Showboat's Old Man River Joe on Broadway and in the 1936 film, and political activist Paul Robeson was someone she'd seen frequently at the house, and I couldn't believe that he was a regular at the Cafe Society. He, of course, remembered Lena when she sat on the stairs of the Chauncey Street house watching her grandparents' guests come and go. He was so happy to see her again and doing so well. They struck up a long-lasting, strong friendship. Robeson helped Lena to see that she had been such a fighter, not letting discrimination keep her from her desire to work in the entertainment industry. And seeing how this had angered her, hardened her, he helped her to peel away those layers and start to understand and embrace what she could, to accept that people were different, black or white. Robeson planted the seed. He planted the seed that motivated her and gave her the fortitude to openly advocate for justice and equality for her people. And there are many stories of her commitment. Here are just a few. She sued establishments where she stayed and where she played because of their discriminatory practices. During World War II, while she toured the stateside army camps for the USO, she made it known that the black soldiers who had come to hear her were not to be put in the back of the room. Participating in the American Civil Rights Movement in the 60s, she was there for the 63 March on Washington. She was a member of the National Council for Negro Women and always available to promote and support the NAACP. She was really something else. Anyway, we're going to do another song for you now. This was recorded on her album, Love Is the Thing, a great tune from Gershwin. And I think it's perfect following just what we were talking about, someone to watch over me. There's a saying old, says that love is blind. Still I'm often told, seek and ye shall find. So I'm going to seek a certain lad I've had in mind. Looking everywhere, haven't found him yet. He's the big affair I cannot forget. Only man I ever think of with regret. I'd like to add his initials to my monogram. shepherd for this lost lamb. There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key, oh, the key for me. Won't you tell him, please, to put on some speed, follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone who watch over me. Thank you. Whew. Okay, so following her success at the cafe, Lena's lengthy and highly successful engagement at New York's Savoy Plaza Hotel in the early 1940s got her national attention, including Hollywood. Over the next several years, this is amazing. Over the next several years, Lena Horne became the highest paid African American performer in the country. She was the first black woman to secure a long-term contract with a film company when she signed a 7-year deal with MGM. They paid her $1,000 a week. It didn't matter if she was in a film, if she was, working in a film at the time, or what her role was, or how long she was on the screen. A major part of this contract, though, I think, which is so important, it was MGM agreeing to her stipulation, and I have to tell you that her father helped her a great deal throughout these negotiations, that although she was a woman of color, she would not accept any roles that were demeaning to her or her race. Lena Horne was always a lady. While under contract with MGM, the studio was happy to let her work off the lot. Her successes made them, look good. She was earning $1,500 per week for every radio appearance. She was popular with the World War II soldiers, black and white, and she was featured quite often on the Army radio programs. She earned $6,500 a week when she worked a nightclub. That would be equivalent to about $100,000 a week today. The security and persona the studio contract gave her is what allowed her to have all of this success off the lot. She was well aware of that, but she was also becoming very disappointed with MGM's inability to offer her starring roles. At that time, the film industry had a lot of restrictions placed on them when it came to hiring black actors. Her film performances were actually just musical features. That's all. Just, like one musical feature. She would perform, she would be listed, billed under her own name, and she would be the nightclub act or the concert stage act that the characters in the movie went to see. Her feature was filmed in a way that it could be clipped out. When the movie was played in theaters, that wouldn't show films with black performers. Not only in the South. Well, she was starting to have, a little bit enough of this, and so she was able to, this is incredible, she was able to buy herself out of her MGM contract 2 years before the 7-year commitment. Now listen, this girl had a lot of juice because she turned right around and she signed another contract with MGM that paid her a lot more than that $1,000 a week. This is a great tune that she did with, it was a, feature again, for MGM's 1948 movie, From Rodgers and Hart. The movie was entitled Words and Music. This lady is a tramp. I get too hungry for dinner at 8. I like the theater, but never go late. I never bother with people I hate. That's why this lady is a tramp. I don't like crap games with barons and earls. I won't go to Harlem in ermine and pearls. Won't dish the dirt with the rest of the girls. That's why this lady is a tramp. I like that free, fresh wind in my hair. Life without care. I'm broke. It's oak. Hey, California, it's cold and it's damp. That's why this lady is a tramp. Now, of course, she was appearing in this movie, remember, only as a musical feature, but elegantly dressed. Lena floated through an elaborate set as she sang or danced her way through this only number that she had in this film. I go to Coney, the beach is divine. I go to ball games, those bleachers are fine. I take the columns and I read every line. That is why this lady is a tramp. I like a prize fight that isn't a fake. I love the rowers on a Central Park Lake. I go to opera and stay wide awake. That's why the lady is a tramp. I like the green grass under my shoes. What can I lose? I'm flat, that's that. I'm all alone when I lower my lamp. That's why the lady, that's why the lady, that's why the lady is a tramp. Oh yeah. She met her second husband. He was a composer, conductor, and arranger Lenny Hayden, while she was working at MGM. As one of Hollywood's first biracial couples, they wanted to get married. They weren't allowed to get married in California. It was illegal. So they hopped over to Paris and got hitched in 1947. Because of racial tension, they kept it a secret for 3 years. He became her pianist, her arranger, conductor, manager until his death in 1971. Although she was accused of just creating a business arrangement for herself, something that would benefit her career, Lena insisted that she loved Lenny dearly. They loved each other dearly, and theirs was a very good marriage. With Hayden and his orchestras, Lena found success with huge success, with her concert tours and nightclub dates and recordings. In 1955, with the Lenny Hayden Orchestra, she recorded this next tune on the album It's Love. 2 years later, she performed it live, getting rave reviews on the Ed Sullivan Show. I know, really awesome. Anyway, It's All Right With Me. More Cole Porter. She loved Cole Porter. Loved him. It's the wrong time and the wrong place. Though your face is charming, it's the wrong face. It's not his face, but such a charming face that it's all right with me. It's the wrong song and the wrong style. Though your smile is lovely, it's the wrong smile. It's not his smile, but such a lovely smile that it's all right with me. You can't know how happy I am that we met. I'm strangely attracted to you. There's someone I'm trying so hard to forget. Do you want to forget someone too? It's the wrong game with the wrong chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, oh, but such tempting lips that if some night you're free, well, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right with me. Yeah. Chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, but they are tempting lips. So if some night you're free, well, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right with Anita Thomas, come on. Anita Thomas is here from Australia. No, she didn't get here yesterday. We were talking earlier, and what a fine player, musician she is. This is a real treat for us and to have her with us.
Robert taught me everything I know.
That right? So you had a good teacher. So let's talk about Lena and the composer-pianist Billy Strayhorn. Oh, yeah. Jane, do I see you, Jane? I love you. In 1942, just before Lena signed with MGM, she was offered and accepted a performer's spot with Felix Young's Sunset Strip nightclub called the Little Troc. MGM allowed her to keep that obligation because they thought it would be a great way for Lena to make her West Coast debut. Now, this small, charming little club took longer than it was supposed to get up and running. Duke Ellington was also hired by Young to perform at this club, so while everybody was waiting for this club to open up, Lena met Billy Sweet Pea Strayhorn. They quickly became close friends. He became her music mentor and teacher. They'd talk and rehearse late into the night as he worked with her interpretation and delivery of her songs. In an interview later in life, she said she had no idea really how much she didn't know musically and was very, very grateful for his unconditional patience and guidance. And she added that they were soulmates. Strayhorn was the only man I ever loved, truly loved. He was everything I wanted in a man, but he was openly gay. So our close friendship could never flower into the romance that I desired. They remained very close and dear friends until his passing in 1967. Now, Billy Strayhorn was a genius, and he worked with Duke Ellington. He wrote some pretty incredible pieces. The song that we're going to do for you now was one of her favorites. She performed it often, and I hope you guys don't mind because we're going to do a little duet. And Billy wrote, he wrote the lyric, the poem, to the song when he was 14 or 15 years old. I want you to remember that when you listen to the lyrics of this, "A flower is a lovesome thing." A flower is a lovesome thing, a luscious, living, lovesome thing, a daffodil, a rose, no matter where it grows. A flower is a lovesome thing. A flower is the heart of spring that makes the rolling hillsides sing. The gentle winds that blow, blow gently, for they know a flower is a lovesome thing. Laying in the breeze, swaying with the trees, in the silent night or in the morning light. Such a miracle. Azaleas drinking pale moonbeams, gardenias floating through daydreams, wherever they may grow, no matter where you go. A flower is a lovesome thing. in the breeze, swaying in the trees, in the silent night or in the morning light. Such a miracle. Azaleas drinking pale moonbeams, gardenias floating through daydreams, wherever they may grow, no matter where you go, a flower is a love. Robert Redd. Woo. Starting in the 1930s with the Cotton Club to dance halls in early Hollywood, Lena Horne's career actually spanned 60 years. From the 1950s through the 1980s, she enjoyed tremendous success as a concert artist, be it nightclubs or concert halls. On American television, she performed on nearly all of the TV music variety shows at the time. Lena Horne's live performances, be it on television or in a concert hall, are legendary. Okay, let's not forget about her appearances, too. She had a few appearances on popular sitcoms like A Different World, Sanford and Son, The Muppet Show, and, of course, Sesame Street. Her film resulted in 25 movies. Only early MGM kept those two music spots. She introduced herself to a whole new audience as Galinda the Good Witch in the 1978 film The Wiz. In 1981, at 64, she made a triumphant return to the stage with her Tony and Grammy-winning one-woman Broadway show, Lena Horne, The Lady in Her Music. It ran for 14 months. Her 300 performances garnered her not only rave reviews, but also a Special Achievement Award, a Special Achievement Tony. Okay, throughout all of this, she also recorded prolifically. I don't know how she had time. She recorded over 40 albums. And her final album, recorded in 1995, just a couple years shy of her 80th birthday, won her fourth Grammy. Lena Horne was 92 when she died in New York City on May 9th, 2010. She was survived by her daughter Gail, 6 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. I say this because her son, Teddy, sadly, died from kidney disease when he was just 30 years old. 4 of those grandchildren were his. She was honored posthumously in 2022 with the renaming of Broadway's Brooks Atkinson Theater to the Lena Horne Theater. She is the first African-American woman to have a Broadway theater named after her. We would like to thank you all for being here with us this evening, and all of you at home, hi, thank you so much. And please put your hands together for Clark Bjorky in the back. This is how you can hear us. And Benji Price in the back. That's how you can see us with the lights and taking care of the streaming. Thank you, both of you, very much. Thank you to the Mainstay. Please put your hands together for this incredible group of musicians. What a great sandbox this has been to play in. Anita Thomas. Woo! James King on double bass. My good friend, this wonderful, wonderful musician, our music director, Robert Redd.
As always, what an incredible presentation and performance by Sue Matthews.
Okay, so while under her first MGM contract, and Horne had starring roles in just 2 films. This was early on in her contract. Both were released in 1943, and both had full black casts, all black casts. Cabin in the Sky and Stormy Weather. Written by Harold Arlen and Ted Koehler, the title song she sang for Stormy Weather became her signature piece. We can't leave you without it. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather since my man and I ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. Life is bare, gloom and misery everywhere. Stormy weather since my man and I ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. Now, when he went away, those blues walked in and met me. If he stays away, old rocking chair will surely get me. All I do is pray the Lord above will let me walk in that sun once more. And I can't go on. Everything I had is gone. Stormy weather since my man and I, we ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. The time when he went away, those blues walked in and met me. If he stays away, old rocking chair will surely get me. All I do is pray the sun above will let me walk in that sun once more. Can't go on. Everything I had is gone. Stormy weather since my man and I ain't together. Oh, keeps raining all the time. Since my man and I ain't together, looks like stormy weather. Good night. Thank you.